Good evening. The RockSingle podcast is a cross-cultural response to the economic and social climate of today's relationship scene. RockSingle will teach you how to maneuver and still be kingdom-minded throughout your relationship experiences. Our aim is to help repair the fallen and broken man with a kingdom mindset. The podcast seeks to inspire, enlighten, and highlight upcoming and established local kings and queens of character while promoting Black consciousness and awareness of who we are and to whom we belong. Oh, welcome. We're on alternate production today because one of our very own has a birthday. Happy birthday, LaShana. So yeah, Will is on birthday duty. And AJ, she on the ones and twos in the back, but she's at work. So we multitask over here in the kingdom, okay? When you gotta get it done, you get it done. So this evening, we will be talking about life support. Okay. And when you hear the beeps on the heart monitor, beep, 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 beep. Okay, you don't want that flat line. So life support, like the pinnings of the edge of your support net. Okay, that's the keys to your life support. So are you thoroughly and properly anchored in the proper way to fully support your life as a whole? So we talk about support systems and support groups for different types of trauma and all of that. So those are those actually are a part of that support system. So seeking help from others, from seeking counsel, seeking spiritual support, having if you have a church home, if you don't have a church home, if you just have a pastor that live on your block and you go and you pop up at his house every now and then for dinner, like, hey, I got a question, like that counts too. Okay, so there's no right or wrong way to find support and to actually anchor yourself in it. Oh, you can't hear me. Jate is in the middle of hurricane at the moment, so her signal is.
I mean, I lie to you not. It's not just you're breaking up. It sounds like an instrumental. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. And then you see me, I keep on going out. That's why my face is just like.
Well, I can see you just fine, and I can actually hear you better than before. But yeah, the signal on her end isn't too great, but she's here. You see, we're gonna work our way through it. So make sure that you are putting in the effort, because what does the Bible say? Seek and ye shall find. So if you are looking for support, you will absolutely find it, and you got to make sure you looking in the right places. Okay, so don't go and look in a bar for support, at the bottom of a bottle for support, all that stuff. No, those are adding to the problem and not solving it. Okay, so we are a solution mindset in the kingdom. All right, so not a problem mindset. Okay, so there nothing is a problem in the kingdom. Why? Because we got a solution mindset. So when you have a solution mindset, you find solutions, and you also keep worry at bay, because how you gonna be worried if you know that it's already solved, right? Okay, so that's why it is important to have a strong spiritual support and connection in your Bible, in like I said, in the church. Some people don't really do church, but it's okay. Like it's okay, because not every church is good. Okay, it's great for for you individually. So you have to find what works for you. I've been to a lot of different churches, and there's a lot that I liked, and some that I didn't, and it's fine. And I'm pretty sure the people who went there every Sunday loved it. All right. So I don't knock nothing for nobody. Just make sure you are working on your problems. Okay. Because when you Don't work on your problems. Your problems end up becoming somebody else's problems. And that's what we don't want to do here. Okay. That's not kingdom. All right. We're dealing with our own stuff. Not alone though. And that's the thing that I think a lot of times kind of gets kind of drug along with that concept of dealing with your own problems and minding your own business. It's not putting on blinders and putting your head down and, blocking everybody else out or, all of that. No, this is not about isolation or separation. It is definitely about connecting, but in order to have a strong connection to others, you have to make sure that your conductivity is right. Okay. You got poor conductors like metal, like fake metals and stuff like that, stuff that's not magnetic and stuff like that. And then you have real conductors, steel, iron, those type of things conduct electricity. You want to be a good and strong conductor of energy, of electricity, of that energy that's flowing through that space that you're in, the community that you're a part of. So if you are not being a strong conductor, then you the weak link. Okay. So that's why you have to focus on yourself, but not by yourself. You have to understand how your problems and even the solutions you find to your problems affect other people around you. And that is why we are here talking about relationship, because we are all connected. You don't live in this world by yourself. Okay. I don't care. I don't care if you stay at home all day and you live by yourself. Don't worry, you still not by yourself because you got neighbors. There's people walking past your house. If you never come out your house and you don't take care of your lawn, other people see that. And it does. It affects other people's property value. How you take care of your home affects the property value of someone else's home. Like, so come on now. What are your thoughts on this today?
So, from what I heard, fine connection, but it's so usually it's like don't have your Wi-Fi and your data on at the same time. Well, that's what I'm trying, and I hear you way better, so we gonna work it. But yeah, so that reminded me of I remember when I first had my daughter, and the person I was dating at the time, he was like, how are you? And I'm like, oh, well, and a new mom. I'm like, oh, well, as long as my baby okay, I'm good. And he was like, no. He was like, don't you understand that you have to be okay? He was like, because if you're not okay, you can't make sure that she's okay. And I was like, oh, that's true. And so, like I said, that made me think about what you were talking about. Absolutely, like making sure, because I will infect or either affect my environment, even my kids. If I am not, you know what I mean? If I bring my work stuff at home, now I'm going to be in here hollering, and it has nothing to do with them, but because I didn't get myself together before I got out the car. So yeah, just like she said, making sure that I'm okay and I'm taking care of my problems so that I can be effective to my environment, my children, my family, my coworkers. Like it could be vice versa. I could be having issues at home and I don't want to be stomping and slamming a coffee pot at work. You know what I mean? So making sure that I'm in a proper position because I do want to help people. So it's funny, like I post a lot of like encouraging stuff in videos, and like that's what I want to be like. People like, oh well, my friend was like, well, what she said? She was like, oh, it wasn't a preacher. I was like, no. I was like, I'm a hope dealer. I am a hope dealer.
Okay, I like that. Come get your fix.
It's funny because God had me, so I don't know if you know, but I have a t-shirt business, and it was so decent. So one night, like I'm just sitting there, and like seriously, I'm like, I'm a hope dealer, and it came in my head. He had me do a shirt, and it was like it's a Bible, and it says pushing the way to Jesus, because in the streets they pushing that way to, It's like, nah, we pushing the way to Jesus around here. Like I'm a hope dealer, but yeah, so it's funny. So like I'm not gonna lie, I'm still human, so I have moments where, like you said, I forget that, like, no, like I am a child of God. Like I don't have problems. I do not have problems. I have things, but like you said, I should not be looking at it as a problem. Easier said than done. I should never be panicking. I should never be anxious. I should never be worried. I'm working on it. But yeah, So even with that, it was like, and I noticed like when I'm like that, of course I'm distracted. Thank God I'm still functioning. I'm still cooking dinner and I'm still being a mom and I'm still working. But you know, my head, even if I'm physically there, mentally, you know what I mean? And or either I'm not fully there. And it was like, I can't do that because how can I encourage other people? How can I be like, nah, you good, God got you, you know what I mean? But and it's like, remember that when you're in those
You end up
moments,
feeling like a
like,
hypocrite. You're
hello.
like, dang, like I got the answer for everybody but me, huh?
It'd be like, listen, no. And I'm like, okay, what would you say to someone else? And not that I would be faking, like, what would you legit tell somebody else and mean? And it's like, hello, then let's go. You're fine. It's fine. All is well. So yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, I didn't hear. So you talked about being making sure you're taking care of your problems so you can help other people taking your problems and you're not causing other people's problems. And that's another thing because like I said, like, and it's funny because I read, and this was like a while ago, I read that people, all of us, we get in arguments and be in conflict with the people that we are closest to. And you would think that it would be the exact opposite. Because it's like, oh, my family. No, like I don't fight with my family and we love each other. And it doesn't mean that y'all don't love each other. But they were like, again, because all the things that I named, they were like, because you bring your problems home or you take them wherever you go. And so it's going to unintentionally unfold on whoever is around. It could be at the person at Wawa, and as you don't even know you, but you done exploded and had absolutely nothing to do with them at all. But yeah, so making sure that we're all right, so we can help other people be all right, and so that we're not affecting other people. It's what's the lady, the cheery lady? What's her name? Tabitha. What is her name?
Yeah.
I like her.
I
See,
forget. I love her though. Yeah.
Cause I just not like I be seeing her stuff, but like I just listen to her. Oh, like she's so sweet. Like I want her to be my auntie.
I know, right?
No, for real.
And she's like genuine about it though. Like it's not like a persona or anything. Like that's
No.
really like every time you see her, that's how she is. And it's like, oh, okay.
And you feel it like you're not in the room with that lady, but like you said, you can feel her spirit and you can feel, and she just like, baby, come here. But it's funny, and so I noticed she has this saying, and then she had this shirt on. Have something like have a blessed day. And even if not, don't go messing up somebody else's.
Okay. Oh, like, from the Netherlands. Hello, Arcane Sports from the Netherlands.
Well, hello. Good evening.
Yeah, on the whole other side of the globe. Okay, because it said good morning. I'm like, oh my, it's about 7:30 here. So yeah. International baby.
I was like, oh wait, look, Calgon, take us away. Ooh.
Yes, I see Queen Shinigadine tuned in. Welcome, Queen.
Hello, sis. But yeah.
But yeah, that's absolutely true. It's being mindful and aware of your own stuff so that you can not make it somebody else's problem. And that's the thing. Like there's plenty of people who are willing to, help you. Like that's the whole support. Traveling the world. Yeah. But that's about the life support thing. Like there are plenty of people that are anchors, and even though they can be an anchor in your life, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're permanent. So people come and go for various reasons, and the better you are with understanding that, the less you hang on to people that don't need to be there, because just because they were an anchor for you in your preteens and teens doesn't necessarily mean that that's the same person that's going to be able to be there for you in your 30s and 40s, and while you're building a family and things like that. Like those may not be the same people that can be there for you in those times, and all of that. And so you have to be aware of the role that people are playing in your life and the role that you are playing in theirs, because those things tend to mirror each other. So if you are helpful and supportive to other people, then you will find that a lot of the people in your life tend to be helpful and supportive. So if you find yourself in a position where you are not having any help or support with anything, then you should look at yourself and what you are doing. Are you being helpful and supportive?
Are you asking, are you letting someone know that something is going on? Because I'll never forget, I was having a conversation with somebody and they were like, I don't have anywhere to go and this is ridiculous. I have all this family. And I just very gently said, well, have you told anybody? Have you asked anybody that could I stay with you or whatever, however you want to say it? And they were like, well, nah, because I only want. And I said, well, being sensitive, but you cannot be upset with them because you're like, oh, I got all this family and that's ridiculous. You are upset with them because they are not helping you with a situation that they are not even aware that you had. How can I be like that? I was starving. You wouldn't even give me nothing to eat. And it's like, what you take? I didn't know you were hungry. Why didn't you tell me you were hungry? But
ask and you shall receive.
Yes, and I think when you were breaking up because of me, I heard you say like about having a support team. I think I heard something about a pastor. I don't know if but yeah, like it's funny because like people be like, I don't need a church to be in relation with God. And you are absolutely right. First of all, the church is not the building that we go and worship in. We are the church. But it is so like it's a blessing. I'm serious. It is such a blessing to not just church family, but to be in fellowship with other people. Because like she said, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you are a loner, you like being by yourself. And that's your preference. You are not in this world alone. You are not created to do life alone, okay? And at some point, it's going to get really dark and it's going to get really heavy. And so you don't want to try to do that. God even tells us two is better than one. You know what I mean? It says something to the effect of, he literally says, I pity the person that has nobody else. He said, because if you begin to fall and you are by yourself, who was there to catch you? But if there is somebody else, then y'all can catch each other. And then it says, it even refers to being cold. If you are cold and you are laying with somebody, literally, if you're married, and unliterally, figuratively, you know what I mean? You have somebody else there to be with you, to keep you warm. So I know that it has become like a badge of honor. Like, oh yes, I'm strong. I don't need nobody.
Bro, that's like the biggest sin off of the century.
It's a setup. It is a
straight like that.
setup. It's a setup. I just and again, thank God, I'm good. I'm okay. But I just was in Walmart not too long ago lifting a 35 pack of Deer Park spring water. And I just was like, it's gonna feel beautiful when I don't have to anymore. You know what I mean? Because thank God I have the muscles to do this on my own, but it's gonna be a little easier when I don't have to. You know what I mean? I thank God that I don't know nothing about no tires. I thank God that I have brothers that I can call and be like, hey, I'm sitting on the side of the road. You know what I mean? So we all need somebody. We all need somebody. That is it's not just a setup, but it's literally a trick of the enemy. And if you're not a believer and you don't like, oh, that's all, it literally is. Like, think about what isolation does. Think about when you are by yourself. I'm telling you, like, yeah, no, you don't. And it doesn't mean that you need 1,000 people. You know what I mean? Right. If you find 1,000 dope people, that's amazing. But don't be out here talking about, independent.
I don't need nobody because I just look
because we all need somebody. We all need. Not okay.
You who you trying to get to believe is like yourself. You gonna say it until you believe it.
And I get that the world has made us like, oh yeah, if you be like, you don't need nobody, oh that's commendable. No disrespect. No. No. Think about this, right? So even outside of your personal life, don't you go to mechanics? Don't you go to the grocery store? Don't you go to work? Don't Can you fix the motoring? You do need somebody, or you wouldn't be going to a mechanic shop. You wouldn't be going to the grocery store. You would not be going to work. You know what I mean? You would not be having, and I'm like, I get it's like, well, those are not, excuse me, I'm speaking. Ugh. But yeah, like, so you do need somebody. You do need somebody, because there's nobody in the world that can do everything. There's nobody in the world that can do everything. So at some point, look, that's rude. Look, she like, can you like change
right? Can you go ahead?
change I said, but look, I need you right now to change my station. Oh my goodness.
And our Twitch user brought up a good point too. People have boundaries and barriers up, and they're not as quick to share their problems or ask for help, and you know, that's also understandable, and mostly because that's like you were saying, that's kind of how society has really pushed us to be separate and independent and all of this other stuff, so we feel guilt and shame for asking for help, for, you know, reaching out to other people and admitting that we can't do all of this by ourselves. And so we end up feeling less than because we've asked for help, but really that's what you're supposed to do. That's what creates and strengthens connections, is when you allow other people into your life, into your space, to offer and also be of service to you, because that's what we're here for. We're here to be of service. And when you ask for help, you are giving other people the opportunity to fulfill their purpose and be of service to you. And then when you tell them what you need, now they can be of greater service, because they can help you exactly in the way that you need them to help you, as opposed to, you know, people just offering, because people are going to offer whatever they're comfortable with giving, or, you know, things like that. So if you need more, or if you don't need as much, or if you need something completely different that never would have came to their mind, they don't know that because you didn't say anything. So people probably were helping you all along in their way, but because it wasn't the help you needed, you weren't even able to be grateful for, you know, the help that they were giving, because it wasn't helping you with the problem that you really, you know, needed the help with. So that's why communication is key, and that's why we talked about SOS communication. When you are in need of help, communicate that, and be concise and clear about the type of help that you need. And a lot of times that's usually the uncomfortable conversations and things that need to occur, that don't always occur, mostly because of like I said, the personal problems that we carry around, and, you know, we don't necessarily deal with. So that's definitely one of those internal problems that you really have to look at and be like, where did this even come from? Because we weren't made like that. You see her daughter, that she came right up to her like, yeah. So obviously, if we're that comfortable at a young age with our parents, we had to be taught not to interrupt our parents when we needed something, you know, and all of that stuff. So we weren't born like that, to just not ask for help and not, you know, and be super duper independent and try and do everything. Like, we weren't like that. So look inside, find out where did the wrong turn occur. Okay, pull out the map. All right, back when I was here, what happened? And then when you find that wrong turn, you gotta plot a new course. Okay, just go ahead, turn it around. All right, we made a wrong turn, we got to turn back around. All right, now we headed in the right direction. So that's why we're here, and we have these type of conversations. And I actually kind of touched on this point a little bit earlier on my Facebook Live about self-care. You know, that's been a really, really big thing, and I'm so glad to see that a lot more people are, you know, finding ways to do that, but a lot of what I'm seeing is mostly like superficial type things, and then it's also very isolating and separating. Self-care doesn't necessarily mean, oh yeah, I need a whole week or 3 days and all this stuff by myself to my. That's not necessarily self-care. Yeah, you probably absolutely do need some time to yourself. I'm not saying that that's wrong or that's bad, but that's not all self-care is. Self-care is also caring for people around you, because guess what? Their state of being affects your state of being. So if they sitting there like a bump on the log, yeah, you might be bubbling, you might try, but eventually if you spend a lot of time around that person, their mood is going to start to affect you. Whether you know it or not, it does, and it will. And so when you reach out to that person and ask them, what's the matter? Is there something you want to talk about? Is there something I can help with? That's you practicing self-care, because you understand that, excuse me, that the state that this person is in is going to eventually affect your state in a negative way. So self-care is the meticulous and I would say aware curation of your environment as well. So, cleaning your house and all that other stuff, like that's a part of self-care. Being, having a neat outer space is conducive to a neat inner space. Having people around you that are uplifting, that is self-care. Not isolating yourself like, oh, I'm in a bad mood, so I don't want to go around people that are happy and then mess up their mood. No, that's exactly where you need to go. And you need to tell them like, look, y'all, I'm in a bad mood. Can y'all help me?
Oh my! So you just made me. It's not funny because when you was before you start talking. No, I had one. No, you gave me two things, and you just gave me two other things. So God, let me remember four things. First one, when you were talking about what's inside of us, and being open to share that with people, without shame and guilt. And so it's so funny, and I'm going to say this because the world knows, so I'm not putting him on blast. But when and like you said, so we'll know how to help that person, or that person will know how to help us, despite the shame and the embarrassment that can come with it. So Kirk Franklin, when he told the world that he had a problem with pornography, and you had some people so like, that's my dude for real. I went to one of his concerts, and when I tell you, like, the whole 4 hours, like, you did not sit down. And I ain't gonna say the face, but what about Philly Bear was like, I don't fool with him because he was addicted to porn. I'm like, wait, stop. That is so backwards. We all struggle with something, even if it's not porn. Two, it is so commendable because he said, I have this problem. And so what did that do? It was so he could get help. And so that for me is better than hiding it, because what he was saying is what we say when we do that. It's like, listen, I am this, I don't want to be this, I struggle with this, I don't want to struggle with this. You know what I mean? How can he get help? How could we get help if we excuse me, because now you're being rude. Excuse me. But yeah, so it's like, no, why don't shame people because they expose the stuff that they struggle with. That's what we were supposed to do. Because guess what? Had he not said that he was struggling with that, he would still be struggling with it. And him doing that helped him. Probably helped his wife, helped his family. You know what I mean? Too, when you said about my daughter, who back again, it made me think of childlike faith. And like you said, like, we had to be taught not to interrupt. And so even down to with, like, we're talking about not being okay with asking for help. A kid will ask you for help with anything. Mommy, open these bag of chips. Like, what's wrong with your hands? Like, open these chips. Like, what? But yes, we should be like them, even because it's so funny because they are under us for us to steward them and to be a help to them. But like I said, it's funny because you seeing that made me think about childlike faith, because kids are not afraid to ask for help. Even in school, you know what I mean? Now there will come a time probably when they are made to feel stupid for asking that question, and then that will deter them from not raising their hand. But like you said, that's going back to the moment. But before that, we had whatever moment it was. It could even be as a grown up, you had told somebody you needed help, and then they talked about you like a dog. They could have, your light bill was ready to get turned off, and it was hard, but it was like, I can't be without lights. I have to tell somebody. And so you told somebody, then they told everybody that you had a shut off notice. So then it's like, you know what? I'm not asking for help anymore. I'd rather scrape and scrounge. Heck, I'd rather whatever. I'm not going to do that to myself again. But we need to not allow, and I reposted it because it was from somebody else, but to not let experiences that we have, let that just be the final say, the final feeling that we have about something. So what, you had a bad relationship experience. So what, you had a bad friendship experience. So what, you had somebody, when you asked for them to help you, that they talked about you and they told everybody, that was that experience. Don't let that make you suffer now. Oh, I'm never going to ask anybody for help. That's not your problem. That's their problem. And don't, like I said, don't punish yourself because of the ill actions of somebody else. You know what I mean? Because you think that you are protecting yourself. Because like you said, a lot of it's like this wall. So what is that? You don't have ill intentions, but it's literally like for protection. Because I don't want people talking about me. Like, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to whatever. It's like, excuse me. I'm not going to do that anymore. But what we're doing is, while we think we're protecting ourselves, we're really hurting ourselves. Jayla. But yeah, what else did you make me think of? I don't even know. You made me think about so many things. But yeah, just being willing to ask for help, because that's what we are here for. And it doesn't matter, because you, like you said, you will find the right person. You will find the right person that will help you with the right intentions, with the right heart, with the right everything. So don't be out here. It's not okay, and you're not doing yourself any justice, and you're not doing the people around you any justice either, at all.
And that is very factual. And with the whole instance that you brought up about the kids, and they raise their hand and the kids make fun of them or something like that, or like back, I don't know if they still do this, but I know back in the day for like English and social studies and stuff, you usually had to read the passages and stuff. So kids would get talked about for not being able to read, but the kids who were talking about them didn't know how to read it that well either. So it was strange. So a lot of time, and then unfortunately, these are experiences that occur when we're really young. So we don't have those life experiences to realize that a lot of times when someone attacks a quality in you or talks about something about you, that's really how they feel about themselves. Because if you've noticed how people that truly love themselves and are truly okay with who they are and how they are, no matter where they think they fall short or whatever, they're working on that stuff. They probably taking a class somewhere, got a coach for this, or going to they're doing something to improve whatever they think that they need to improve upon. But other people who want to talk about people like, oh well, they don't dress right, or they smell funny, or whatever, and it's like, so are you like actually trying to help this person? Or because like there are something, like you can't just go and not say stuff, because if they don't know there's a problem, or they don't know that that that's not normal, then then you're not really helping that person. But if you just talking bad about them, and you trying to make them feel shame for something that they didn't even know was out of place, or was was different, or backwards, or whatever, like hygiene, like personal hygiene, like it was the one kid who would come to school smelling kind of off or whatever, whole time they're homeless or something, and they living couch to couch, house to house, and stuff like that, and then the kids are picking on this kid. So it's situations and stuff like that, and that happens with adults as well. Like, you don't know what people are going through, but the fact that that person decides to actually attack the person for that thing, it says a whole lot more about the attacker than it does about the victim, or the person, the receiver of those attacks. And so it's important that we understand that everybody is going through something, and what we say and don't say about it tells everything about what each of us are going through. And so like even just the other day, like I was talking to my daughter's grandmother, and she was just looking at me. She was like, yeah, he's like, you seem stressed and kind of tired. Like, I didn't tell her I was stressed. I answered the phone. I had her, talking to her and stuff, and she was just like, yeah, you don't seem the same, energetic self. Usually you a lot more live and playful and stuff. Are you okay? You seem stressed. Like, I haven't really been sleeping that well. And she was like, yeah, I can tell you kind of tired. Well, I'm gonna let you go. So, and that's just from my general, demeanor. Like, people who know me know my general type of energy. And so if there's a change in that, then people who are around me or interact with me often enough, they tend to notice that. But if these are strangers on the street, no one would know that at that particular time I was I was sleep deprived and all of that stuff, and stressed and all that. Like, so you don't know what people, especially strangers, are going through. So you're being in a default state of respect, courtesy, kindness, service allows you to help those people without even knowing you're helping them. It allows you to not exacerbate whatever problem it is they have. You might be the one person that keep them from snapping and shooting up the entire store because you said, hey, it's a nice day today. I hope you have a good day. And they're like, oh, they saw me. You know what? It is a kind of nice day. Oh, well, I guess I won't go in the store and ruin everybody's day. Like, seriously, like, you just never know what a kind act probably just deterred. And if you are always in that state of mind or in that state of being and striving for that, then that's what's going to be around you. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't never experience bad stuff, and people just kind of look at them like, oh, you just privileged, or they're trying to find an excuse for it when really they're the reason why they've never experienced bad stuff, because they don't have those type of interactions with people. They don't produce that type of those type of connections, and those type of strains and struggles and stuff between people. But the very abrasive people, like, everything they say is like has like a kind of cut to it, or like they kind of shade people, like even people they don't know. They sitting in the corner talking about people walking through it, and it's like, are you okay?
and right, and so what you said, and we know that everybody goes through things, but like you said, the key to it's what you said and how they're looking at whatever they're going through. It's perspective. Perspective. They could be going through the exact same thing that you are going through, but they're looking at it like we talked about in the beginning. It's not a problem for me because I've given it to God, the problem solver, or whatever they did. You know what I mean? And that's what I remember the two things. So when you were like, how people are like, I'm feeling whatever, I don't want to go mess up everybody's day. Listen, like you said, that's exactly what you do. You say, hey, listen, you call your three, whatever, you call your sister, whoever your people or your person is, and you say, listen, I'm feeling whatever. And child, y'all go and y'all get some food, y'all get some snacks, y'all watch a movie, and you are going to, I promise you, maybe not instantly, you might not even want to, but I bet you at the end of that session, you are going to be lifted up out of that thing. Why? Because like you said, you did the opposite of what we feel like sometimes we should do. Like, no, and those people want you to. I promise you, those people do not want you to have the attitude. No, I don't want to call my friend. I don't want to ruin her day. If she knew, she would tell you the exact opposite. Don't you dare sit there by yourself. I'm coming to get you, or you come over here. That is the exact opposite of what somebody who loves you would want you to do. And what else did you say? Oh my God, that is so. What did you say? And it'd be so funny because I'll be trying to listen because I'm like, duh, I want to listen, I want to listen, but I'm like, but yeah, just oh my God.
You're gonna have to pull out the notepad.
Yeah, so we never know what somebody is going through. That is so true. And that is true in everybody's situation. Any situation you could think of. I remember and you learn that from experience. And I remember I've heard people speak about that. They were like, you never know somebody's heart or what they're going through. So even the addict, we're just looking like, oh, they wanna be whatever. I don't care. It could look like they're having a time of their life. Nobody wants to have, and we never know why they're doing it. A lot of times, it's not for recreation. They might think it is, but it's true. They're coping with something. They're coping with something. It could be from the past, it could be present, but they are 9 out of 10 using that to cope, trying to numb, trying to forget, trying to whatever, escape reality. So again, it's just a cry for help, an unheard, unannounced cry for help, because they're not asking for help. What they're doing is, doing the drug. Like you said,
right.
Person who is homeless, so we smell them or we see how they look, or we notice that Vicky at work would wear the same outfit 2 or 3 times a week, and you're like, ain't she in her clothes? When no, she really doesn't have any clothes. Like you said, you don't know that
All her
Vicky's
stuff
sleeping
just
in her
burned up in a
car.
house fire 2 weeks before that, and she been trying to find somewhere for her and her kids to live, and between trying to make it to work.
Thank you. And so it would be funny, not haha, but then later on we find out, Vicky had a house, and then like, oh my gosh. Now we have a completely
the whole foot up to the
attitude
kneecap in your mouth
about Vicky's same outfit, when we, like you said, just don't speak upon it, or say something, because you never know what the reason is, because there's always a reason. There is always a reason. Even the people that are nasty and they are mean or whatever, there is a root to why they are. And I mean, I won't say they don't want to be mean, because we know that's a choice. But even with that, there's a reason. There's something that has going on in their life, and sometimes it's way, way, way back in their childhood, and they just have not gotten the help and the healing and whatever you want to say. And they're coping with something. I've found out like that a lot of, and this is statistics. And again, we're not justifying. We're not saying it's okay, because when you become an adult, you know how to treat people. But even people who, I'm not even going to just say men and women who beat on people, okay, in relationships, that grown man that you see now as the monster, watch his mom get her behind whipped. You know what I mean?
and probably so, a victim of that same abuse.
Same abuse. He got kicked out of the house when he tried to help his mama fight the boyfriend. He got put out. He got the cops called on him. Mm-hmm. And now so that 37-year-old man is walking around a wounded little boy. You know what I mean? So we just, and again, that's not justifying, but there's always a reason. There is a reason to everything. Nothing is for no reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And dang, now I'm like you, like the point was right there, and you're just like, bloop, like, no, you don't need this right now. it'll come back to me. But just with reaching out to people, and knowing where you need the help. Like, I think that's probably the biggest reason why a lot of people don't ask for help, because they're not sure what to ask for, or like what type of help to seek. And so that's why having a strong faith is very important, because even if you don't know, God knows. So if you just talk to God, like, God, I don't know exactly what I need help with, or how I'm going to get the help, or how to ask. Just send help. Like the whole saying, send help. Oh, okay. That's what the saying, the kindness as a weakness. That saying is so trash. Oh yeah, they took my kindness for a weakness, and da-da-da. No, they didn't mistake your kindness for weakness. They mistook your weakness for weakness. Like, or they didn't mistake your they saw your weakness for weakness. And that's the thing. When people attempt to or do take advantage of you, it's not because you were kind to them. It's because they saw that the reason you were being kind to them is because of your own brokenness. And that's, kind of like the thing where it's like that the double two sides of the same coin. So yes, you can, the goal is to be kind, but it's to be kind, not to just do kind things to keep people from digging or prying into, your background, or you, because, people who are mean and rude and stuff, they're doing that because they're really trying to keep people away from seeing the stuff that they're not dealing with or that's not together in their life, and they found that putting barbed wire fences up is a lot better than inviting people to dinner and sit in your house and then they talk about all the decor and stuff. So that's the difference between being kind and being kind just to hide things, and being nasty to keep people out. Because it's like, if you're just being kind to kind of hide the stuff that you're not really dealing with, people are still going to see it. They may not comment on it because you've been kind to them and they don't want to look ungrateful or rude or whatever. People are polite. So yeah, they may not address it, but they're definitely going to see it. And they're like, oh, this person they're not really as together as I would think, because usually nice people, kind people have, how they whole lives together. Like, no, that's not the case. You can be kind in the worst situation possible, but you definitely have to understand that the work still needs to be done. So don't not do the work just because you out here spreading kindness and compassion and love. Like, you still have to deal with your own stuff while you're doing that.
So it's funny. So Sheena, when you were saying how sometimes I think you said something like sometimes we're like the answer to somebody's or something like that. And so she posted something in the group saying, like, sometimes miracles are or something, and that's true. That is so true. And to what you said about ask God, it literally. So sometimes we're like, hearing. It could literally be something like I don't know what I need. I know it's not how I want to be. However you want to say it. It would be so amazing. Like the next day, right? You go to the grocery store and they got pamphlets out, and boom, and it'll be exactly what you need, and he will answer you in ways like that. You could have a conversation with a random person, and they will just start talking about, oh, hey, like I'm power, and not because they know you and what you need and have that problem, but just because y'all start talking something, like, yeah, we do this, we help people with this, and it's like, oh my gosh. So it's gonna come. God does not ignore you. He will not ignore you. Okay? Especially in an instance where you're asking for help, where when you're saying I want to be better. Yeah, right. Who would he be if he were to do that? Yeah, right. What did you say? Oh, the keeping the self-care thing, and how you said you're keeping your house and stuff like that. So like years ago, what's her name? Keisha Cole's sister, nephew. Her daughter, which is who was grown, she was grown at this time, and I was watching her videos. Was like she began to get in practice of making her bed, and she was like, because she was like, she said she like read it or heard it, and how like that will make you productive, that will make you more organized. She said, and it was like just seeing your bed made up. She said it like does something to your mind, it does something to the inside of you, and so it affects how you are throughout your day versus not and then messy and all this. It like it associates with like how you are that day and what you put out, how productive you'll be, and all this stuff. Like you said, it will affect your inside. And I was like, wow. And a lot of ever since then, I've been making my video every day. Cause he's like sometimes you like, I mean, like, sometimes I'm like, well, child, I mean, somebody just gonna get in. Ain't nobody coming here. Meantime,
cover back. Like, there it go. Like, no, like actually making need.
If you don't make it, who gonna check you?
Right?
Who gonna judge you in their head?
You. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we don't understand like the stuff that we do to ourselves in the back of our mind. We have no idea how powerful that stuff is, and that's why the small habit changes done over and over consistently creates really big life changes. That's why what's that book? The Compound Effect. It's by Darren Hardy. And he talks about that, and he gives lots of different examples of how just really small things, like even just saving like $25 a month, and it doesn't, and like not for anything like, oh, I'm saving 20 and then eventually I'm gonna spend it on, no, not with a goal in mind to spend. Just save $25 a month and do it every single month, no matter what. Like just and then what's going to happen is that when you look up and then your car breaks down or something, you're going to, I actually have enough money to get me like a quick little, like a car outright cash, no lease or none of that. Like I now, or I can pay to get this fixed without having to take money from a bill. Like just, and that's the thing. Like, and then when you think about like where other things are going, like just writing them down. If you want to get something under control, write down the things that you are doing that are either contributing to that thing or taking away from it. So if you want to get better with your finances, write down everything you spend your money on and where all of your money is coming from. When you start seeing that stuff, you're like, oh, I waste a lot of money. I got all these random subscriptions that I don't use. Like, everything is a subscription now. Hulu, Netflix, Paramount Plus, they got CBS. And I'm like, how did y'all? So look, because at one point in time, I had realized I was spending more on all of these separate subscriptions than I would have been just for cable. And cable is, and cable is busting.
I knew you was going to say that. I promise I knew you was about to say that. Because listen, we got her with the fire, okay? And it ain't because I can't afford cable. I'm not finna play. I'm not about to give Xfinity $172 of my money. And then they bill change every month, and you call them and they don't have no explanation how it keep flip-flopping, like. But so yes, but like I said, like Hulu, Stars, and like you said, everybody's got a subscription. And don't get me wrong, child, Hulu only $6.35. Netflix,
and that's how it sneaks up on you, because you think, oh, it's only this, but you have to think, that's why budgeting is important, because and these are anchors that we're talking about for that life support, setting those anchors. A budget. So when this is how you do a budget, right? So you have your income. You always want to start with how much money is coming in. And then you want to divide that up into, you can use percentages or whatever. So I want to spend 30% on life expenses, 40% on, rent, bills, things like that, like the base, stuff that you kind of have to pay for, like if you have a car note, those type of things. And then all the rest of the money that's left over, you want to budget that for however else you want to spend it. And this includes your savings and entertainment expenses. And entertainment includes anything recreational. So TV, because you don't need your TV to live. You don't need, you don't. And 9 times out of 10, if you have internet, most of the stuff that you watch on TV, you can just watch on your phone from like YouTube or some other free source. There's plenty of free sources of stuff to view now that you don't have to have a TV, and you don't have to have these subscription services. So that's another thing. You got to be very honest about how you're categorizing these things, and not trying to make excuses for, oh no, I need my Netflix because I got to be able to binge watch my no, don't do that. So on top of that, you have to understand how, like, the whole, especially in America, capitalism is king. Okay, it's running literally. People are being run by capitalism. The fact that you go to work and all of that stuff is based on the capitalism in our society. So that's inescapable. So you have to understand that they're going to constantly be marketing things to you all the time. Even on the free stuff, ads pop up for stuff. You're like, oh, that actually sounds like something I would do. Yeah. Before you go and buy it or check it out, check your budget and see how much you got left to go and try that thing. Because trust me, that's in your entertainment, recreational budget. If you want to take the kids to an amusement park, that is your entertainment, recreational budget. So if y'all go and do an outing, guess what y'all won't have that month? Netflix, Hulu, read a book. Like, okay, if we go to the amusement park this month, y'all, what books y'all want me to pick up from the store so y'all can have something to do next month? Because the budget is like, seriously, that's how you really have to be. That's why a budget is supposed to be an anchor. It's not supposed to have like, oh, we can shift this here and shift. No, it's supposed to be your guideline. It is your this is it. what we doing. And one thing I thought about was like circulating the subscriptions. So if you have like, let's say, because usually when you watch those, you end up binge watching stuff anyway, and then by the end of the month, you've been and watched all the stuff you wanted to watch, and then you got to wait for the next season. So if you know you're not going to watch it for that month, then cancel the subscription or pause it or whatever. You can remove your card or whatever. You can skip like whatever that you have to do to stop them from charging you for that month, and then go to another subscription or whatever service that has something else that you want to see on there. And that can help you keep that streaming budget down to below $20 a month. Like,
right, because think about it, I can buy cars in 2-3 months, but there's 14. I ain't.
and that's a tank of gas. In 2-3 months in a regular car, that's a tank of gas.
Absolutely. So that's a good.
Yeah. You got to use. It's like they create the system, and they trust me. They've already thought about how, because you haven't noticed that they didn't caught on to how people are sharing logins and stuff.
Yeah. I be doing that with my mom, yo. It's not even, yo. Somebody, because we all live by like my sister's baby, so she still lives on. But like me and my two brothers, like we all have our own house. And child, it be in a group text. Mom, what's your Disney Plus?
Because we saw Disney. And then when they had a premiere access, we all chip in. It's like 6 of us. We all sent $5, and then we didn't got our $30 premiere access. So whole families are watching movies that if y'all had got up and went to the movie theater, y'all would have spent over $100 for all of y'all to get in to see that movie. Not even going to concession.
I was gonna say, and that's after the trip to Dollar Tree, because I ain't gonna lie, like I'm for real. I'm sorry, like. Yeah, and then the discount tickets. So like at our recreation building, and then at like my mom's job got discount tickets, and then my job started having discounts, and it'd be like instead of the 13th, like 9. Even them, like, you know what I mean? Like, I got 2 kids, that's $27. Thank God it's better than what I would have paid, but yeah, that adds up. So, like you said, it's better.
It definitely does. And this is why we talk about that support system, because many hands make light work. So, like I said, a $30, one person paying $30 for premiere access on Disney Plus is a whole lot more than 6 people paying $5 for the same access. So this is why you like building that strong support system. And then also like the intangible supports, like books. Like the book I mentioned, like find books. Like you can ask, because a lot of times you would think like you have a certain mindset about a person, like, oh, they probably not reading nothing, that's you. And then you ask them, and then they'll come out with a whole, oh yeah, I love to read. Like, you love to read, and then they give you all the list of books that they read. You read stuff like that. Yeah, people will surprise you. So you have to ask, and these could be people that you've known for a long time and all of that stuff, but you don't know everything about everybody. So just ask. And then a lot of times, like, even if it's something that even if you think that they would suggest something that you might not like, ask anyway. Because even still, like, even if it's not something that you would read, just knowing that this person reads, y'all got something in common now. So even if you're not going to read the book, now you got something to talk about. Tell me about that book that you told. I don't really want to read. And they be like, why you don't want to read? And then they're going to tell you all the good parts. And sure enough, you're going to end up reading it. And you're like, you know what? You was right. This was a good book. Like, I usually don't read stuff like this, but this was good.
And oh my gosh. I cannot believe that was quick. See, time flies and having fun.
I know, right?
2 things. So yeah, about the reading stuff and how there's all these different resources and not being afraid to ask for help. So I'm reading T.D. Jakes' daughter's new book, Woman Evolve. So the last chapter, we just read chapter 7 because I had started a book club, because that's how amazing it was. Like, I got to chapter 5 and I was like, stop. I was like, I have to ask a couple of my ladies, do they want to read this book with me? But it talked about how, like, how she said there's so much free information out there. She was like, so say like for me, I just became a certified event planner, and so obviously I became that because I love doing it, and I already have some skills even before I became certified. But there are things that I don't know how to do. And so, or just anything. And so she was saying how like there is so many different ways to obtain free information. She was like, there are literally, she was like, follow them on their social medias. Go on YouTube. That's how I learned how to make a balloon arch. I watched a bunch of free videos on YouTube. I didn't pay a dime, okay? And she was just saying how there's so many different things. She was like, follow them. She was like, get mentors. She was like, you don't gotta know these people. You do not have to know these people to get free information from them. A lot of people give out, you be seeing courses on this and that and all this other stuff. There's this one event planner. She literally, this is the dopest thing I ever seen. And then it reminds me of, oh my goodness, what is her name? Jade Dugatti. That's her last name. I didn't say it right. We had her on Rock Youth, and she does the wigs. And she was saying how like at some point she wants to teach other people. And I think that's an amazing thing when you're like, okay, now I've learned how to do this thing. Like I want to help other people master this. And so the event planner, she literally, and it's on YouTube, and she does it for free. She takes you to events with her, and she lets you watch her do stuff. And she's like, and if you have a hard time doing this, just drop a question in it. She's not keeping it to herself. She's not like, nah, I want to, and ain't nobody finna outdo me. And looking at other event planners as competition. So many people, like you said, we feel like, oh, they wouldn't help me. You would be surprised at how many people be willing to help you. And for my last closing, about the people who are not so kind and things like that. Because like you said, there's a reason. And it could be not that they're always not kind. Like you said, you're usually an energetic person, but you were going through a moment because you weren't getting sleep that it, you know what I mean, it affected how you were. So like somebody's being mean, somebody's being nasty. Don't be mean, don't be nasty back. Just like, hey, is everything okay? Something to that effect. I don't know. Like, and of course, like our natural thing is like, nah, I'm finna say.
Yeah, you went out. I can still see you, just can't hear you.
Like, yeah, you know, our natural response is like, nah, I'm about to stay away from anybody got conflict. No, sit with Vicky at work, sit with her at lunch, bring her. You notice every day she I don't know, she drinking a Turkey Hill lemonade. Just take her one.
Girl,
Take
you
her
know about that turkey here. That turkey here change your life.
and I feel so bad because everybody don't got
Hey,
it.
with
I'm
the
like,
half
what?
gallons coming in, like I got the turkey.
I'm like, what? They're like, no, what's turkey? I'm like, girl, you ain't had no,
Oh man,
you ain't had
that
no
will definitely change your life.
turkey or green tea. Gosh, that's a whole
They
other
got green tea.
Yes,
Oh,
girl, it's green tea with ginseng and honey. I promise you, it's
see, I gotta
and
find
it's
it. Yeah,
refreshing, yo. I'm serious. It's
yeah.
not sweet. It's like, oh, it's really like, you know that. But yeah, gotta run away from that person and like, I don't got time. This and maybe if it's somebody you feel comfortable with, that's ask them, something going on, whatever. If it's somebody you're not comfortable with, ask them, just do something kind, do a kind gesture, and see how that will turn them around. So yeah, because sometimes that will make all the difference. I remember Joyce Meyer, she was saying, if you're not having a good day, she was like, I want to challenge. She was like, and I promise you it works. Because, like, even when we're not having a good day, you don't want to be bothered with people. Hey, you stop and you talk just like, hey, and you keep it moving. She was like, I promise you it's going to work. She said, so speak to everybody, smile at everybody. She was like, even though you don't feel like it, she was like, and I promise you, at some point, your mood is going to turn around because of what you put out. And I'm telling you, I tried it before. Like I went a while when I was like, good morning. And before I knew it, I was like, oh yeah, it's real.
So that is our show. we talked about our support system. Okay, you have to have the proper supports in place for all areas of your life, the outer life and the inner life as well. So make sure that you are reaching out for the help that you need, especially in those areas where you're not sure where to set that anchor, where to knock that stake down so you can properly secure your tent, your covering. And so there's like we said, there's plenty of free information out here. There's hundreds of thousands of people who will help you for free. And yes, they do it for free. They may not like come in like Ayana fix your life or whatever, but they definitely give plenty of useful tips and resources and things like that. Ebooks, online classes, videos, posts, random quotes, booklets, all types of stuff. So there's the resources and things are definitely there. You just have to seek it. Okay. That is one thing about God. God don't just give just for the sake of giving. There is an action that you have to perform first, whether it's asking, seeking, knocking, praying, changing, turning. These are all action words that are either occurring prior to or during whatever miracle or blessing that you've been waiting on. Something that you did prompted that. So you have to always understand that when you're blessed, it's because you did the work for the blessing. So don't just be like, oh, well, God just blessed me. Yeah, God didn't just bless you. God blessed you because you did the work for the blessing. All right. Faith without works is dead. So even Moses had his trials when he was leading the people away. He hit the water. He was like, oh, so I need to get these people over here. Like, he didn't say, how am I going to do it? He didn't know how. He didn't really care how. He knew God had him. He said, hey, God, I got to get these people out of here. They right behind us. And boom, the water opened up. He didn't know that was going to happen. He just knew that God was going to make a way. And what did God do? God made a way. All right. But Moses was doing what he was supposed to do in the first place. So when you are doing what you're supposed to do in the first place, a way will always be made. Okay. So make sure that you are doing the work on yourself and in yourself, and there will always be a way made for yourself and all of the people around you and connected to you, and that affect your being. So that being said, next week we will be finishing up with. See, I had just looked it up and I forgot that fast. See, this is what sleep deprivation does. Safety provisions. So we will be talking about safety provisions next week to wrap up our Rock True Baywatch season, and just in time for this is August, for September. For the fall. So finishing up the summer and making sure that we are all properly prepared and ready for for life, relationship, for connection, for compassion and love and understanding in reaching out and connecting with other people. So this was a wonderful time. Thank you so much for tuning in, Shayna, and our Twitch viewer all the way from the Netherlands. Like, that was so awesome. I know. And participating with very good points. I love that. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you check us out next week. We have plenty of shows all throughout the week. They're pretty much around the same time, I believe. Our Rock Truth Radio is the only one that airs at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. All the other shows are at 7. And then Rock Truth Cafe Live is Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central. and we're doing a stuffed meatloaf this Saturday. Yes, man. What you say? What? Yes, we're doing stuffed meatloaf. It's gonna be delicious. So that's it for us. We will check y'all next week or in any of our other shows. You can find us on Facebook. You can type in the name of the show or Rock Truth or Rock True, and I'm sure all of our groups will pop up. And join the communities and share and talk and vibe with us, and let's all grow together.
And you go on YouTube and look us up and subscribe so you get an alert every time any of the shows go live. You ain't gonna miss none of it. Cause like, oh, it's time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wonderful, wonderful evening, and I hope you all have taken away as much as I have. I love coming here and conversing with our hosts, with the co-hosts, and our viewers tuning in. I love when y'all tune in because y'all stay dropping them gems, and I love all the different perspectives of very important issues that affect us all. So as usual and as always, rock truth or nothing at all.
Y'all have a blessed week.